Family, it's good to be back with y'all once again for another episode of Top 5 Live, episode 16. I've been make sure I keep counting down so we can keep track of the progress. And we appreciate y'all for listening to everybody that's been, that's in the group, that's interacting on polls, having good conversations, man, getting our viewership up, getting new subscribers, man. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Uh, got back in the building per usual. My bro Danny J Quick up at the top right, big bro Javon Stokes down at the bottom left, and another. Well, he's not. I don't even know if he's a special guest no more. This is our second time on, so you know what I'm saying. My boy Javon's, bro Javon's cousin Jamari Stokes back in the building um, for tonight's top five live, and tonight's top five is going to be the top five sports films of all time. So I fully expect this list to get hectic. Like I posted it earlier today saying that this list is going to be so disrespectful. I'm so sure that this is going to be a disrespectful list because, to be honest with you, there are a lot of good sports movies. You know what I'm saying? And we're doing the best. We're doing the best, not the greatest. You know what I'm saying? So, like greatest is supposed to be like I don't care whether you've seen the film or not, whether whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you quantifying it by accolades, you quantifying it by awards, you quantifying it by star power, you quantify, stuff like that. Best is somewhat a mix of both. You know what I'm saying? Best is like what do you actually love and it's also a great film. So we'll get into that. We also have some. The Dave Chappelle thing won't go away. Me and my boy Brian talked about that for a little bit last night on his page. Danny said he got something he got to get off his chest, so I guess we're gonna do that concerning Chappelle.
Let's just dive right into topics, man. Just go, man. People roller coaster ride. People just get on and hold on.
All right. Well, let's. You know what? We said we want to start with the topic that's quick. Dune. Uh, this won't take me any time. So I personally have friends that have been speaking highly of Dune, which makes me want to, you know, um, watch it and give it credence because I trust them and you know what I'm saying, and they're my peeps. But yeah, so I tried to watch Dune twice this past weekend. I fell asleep both times. Not a quick nap. I'm talking about like sleep. Like I was asleep. You know what I mean? So I fell asleep both times. Then I put it on Facebook. Was like, bruh, I don't know if it's. I know the movie's a slow burn, but I don't know because like I was watching the movie and I was confused in the beginning, and it wasn't just because I didn't read the books. It's like an amalgamation of all of it. It's like okay, I didn't read the books, but it's a movie and it's your first one, so I shouldn't need to do that. But I'm also bored. What am I here for? What is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I had all of these things in my head, and then I fell asleep, and I woke up. Oh, okay. I guess this is embarrassing. And then the third time I went back to it, I just started back where I was, and it took like the fourth act. You know what I'm saying? Of the movie to like actually spark any interest from me whatsoever.
The fourth act? Jeez.
The fourth act. That's how long the movie is. That's how long the movie is.
It is a long movie. For it to be part one, it is a long movie, man.
It's a long, and it's not like epic or anything. Well, okay, I'll let y'all go. I personally was not thrilled about Doom.
Yo, I have not seen
what
it.
What up, B? What up, Brandon?
I have not seen it, and I plan on watching it this weekend. But
I appreciate that, Brandon.
I heard that I knew that it was supposed to be like one of those space operas. It's supposed to be like Lord of the Rings or some. Why am I watching this? Why am I spending 3 hours of my life watching this movie?
That's where I was at. Jamari, have you seen it?
I have not seen it, but I know quite a bit about at least the lore and everything because I've read the books. The books more. I've read the first book more than once. Watched the original version of it, which, from my understanding, doesn't it? They avoid some of the pitfalls the original fell into. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I have not had the time to sit down and watch it, and knowing what I know of the story, I'm not surprised some people have issues with it because, in all honesty, it's a science fiction story that everything else steals from, including Star Wars.
It was a beautiful movie, but it was boring as heck. I'm sorry. I had to take a nap because I was falling asleep after about 30 minutes. It's like, you know what it is? It's like it's dry as butterless toast.
My God.
Because there's no humor.
Like did you
the
burn
characters,
toast?
the
Is it burnt
characters are
toast?
like flat. You know what I mean?
I do
Like,
agree with that.
there's nothing that makes me connect with like anybody. Only person I liked in the movie was Drago. Not Drago. What's his name? Khal Drago.
Yeah.
And that's because he's Khal Drago and everything.
His name is Duncan in the movie.
Duncan
That's it.
Idaho.
I had no idea.
Duncan Idaho is the most relatable character, but I'm still gonna watch it this weekend because
I mean, it's a beautiful.
I'll be honest, it's not like
it's beautiful movie. The special effects are amazing. Everything looks epic and wide scope, and it looks great. But like when you sitting there and you trying to like catch on and be connecting with the movie, I just wasn't connected. Like honestly, the little boy character, or whatever his name, the main character, I just don't. I've seen better the ones than this dude. I mean, nothing against the actor, but he wasn't given a lot to work with.
well, the first thing is it's not supposed to be a traditional the one story.
But they say it in the movie. He literally says, "Am I the one?"
in the sense of it follows all of the it follows all the traditional tropes, and this is one of these things that I knew was going to be a thing because it's supposed to be taken with the entire story behind it, and it's like you're looking at 3, 4, 5 different novels, and he's not supposed to be. He's the one in the sense that he was kind of made to be. He's not benevolent in the way that most stories are supposed to make guys out like him are.
But see, that's the thing. Like, I shouldn't have to read the book to get any of that.
And
like,
that's why it's considered one of the most impossible things.
I saw the first Dune years ago. Like, honestly, I can barely even remember it. Like, no, I mean, the movie came out in what, 70 something, 80 something?
No, it's an early 80s movie.
Yeah, it's an early 80s movie. I was like,
it's not only it's been butchered and cut up in about 3 or 4 different ways, and the people who made the movie knew that it was going to be such a big problem that when they originally when the movie came out, they passed out glossary term sheets to the audience when it first came out. This is the original movie.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
this was going to be something that was going to be dense.
There's very little humor in it too.
No, there is not a lot of humor.
There's no humor. You don't get a chuckle out the movie. And I'm not saying there's got to be a comedy, but you know, listen, I love Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings at least like invests you in the characters. Like even after the first movie, you know, even with homeboy that you don't like, who you feel is going to be the traitor, what's his name? Who dies
in the first movie?
Yeah, in the first movie.
I know what you
dude from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Dude from Game of Thrones. When he has his badass moment, you know, where he like is protecting Frodo, like you actually care. Like I didn't find myself caring about anybody's character, and I'm not sure where the fault lies, if it falls with the actors or if it falls with the script or if it falls with direction. I don't know. But like I said, beautiful movie. Like I thought it was amazing. If it was a painting, I'd buy it. It ain't a painting.
All right, so yeah. Danny said
terrible about that review.
I mean, look, I will say this. It's one of the I feel like this is one of these things where sometimes I have talked with you about this, where sometimes certain pieces of media sometimes just miss a generation. I think Dune might be at the point where it's just too far. Like I personally love the message on Dune, but I think it's at the point now where you're going to have a generational gap that just don't connect with it, even in any form that it's put together in. I don't. For this version of it, I'm still until I watch it, I'm out to lunch.
But, I must have missed the message. Yeah. Morgan, did you get the message?
Huh?
No, I wouldn't even try now. It's not even because it's when I throw it's like okay, it probably should be broken into pieces, but
We
you
should
can't present
probably
one
move
piece
on,
at
man. I
a
feel like I'm eviscerating the movie. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna
Yeah,
stop.
It is what
so
it is. I can't
I'm
say
gonna
no, I
stop.
can't say anything else.
Doom was a beautiful
let
movie. Man.
me. All right, so let me get us into something that you know. Yeah. I know Danny said that he had something he had to get off his chest concerning the Chappelle situation. So, Danny, do you want to go ahead and get it off your chest first, or you want me to get off my chest what I need to get off? Not
I
concerning
can't wait to
Chappelle.
hear what Danny got to say because
No, it's
Danny
not that.
said you definitely ain't gonna like what he said. So
It's
go on,
not
bro.
that. It's not that I had anything to get off my chest. I start. It's just that you posted the clip yesterday.
Yeah.
With Chappelle. I guess he was at some stadium
Yep.
with people,
An arena.
an arena where people came to see him. And I don't know if this was part of another stand. I don't know why he was there. I don't have no clue. But I know we saw a clip of him saying, that he was, clearing up some things and whatever. But my issue was at the end when he said, nobody will touch this movie. He had a documentary that he shot, and he's trying to get out. He sent it to film festivals, all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to get this movie out. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody will touch this movie. And now I'm gonna put it out independently. And y'all will have the opportunity to see it at 10 theaters. And that just rubbed me the wrong way, man. It was like if you and I understand Dave Chappelle's a smart dude. And get your money, dude. Absolutely. But for all the outrage that, a select group of people have, like Brian was saying, if you're going to galvanize a group of people for clicks and for attention to sell your product, I don't think you should be, targeting a group of people like that. I don't feel like that's right. If your end goal is to say, all right, I made these comedy specials, now go watch this movie that I put together. The drama behind it, of course, is going to bring attention to your movies. But if his goal was to, okay, I know that if I enrage this group of people, I'm gonna get activity online, and I'm gonna get these clicks. I'm gonna get this attention for people to go see this movie. That's what would rub me the wrong way. And I'm not saying that he's doing that. I'm just saying that it started to feel like that to me.
Okay.
I'm saying it started to feel like that to me. And you know how I am about, people. Dave Chappelle got a lot of money. Dave Chappelle got a huge platform. He's one of the biggest comedians in the world right now. He might be the biggest comedian in the world right now, especially as a stand-up comic. So, I think the people who are offended have every right to be offended. And if they, like, I'm a black man. If I work at the Department of Veterans Affairs, if there was a racist man coming to speak at my job, I would have something to say about it too. If there was somebody who hated my group of people coming to speak at my job, or their work is being put up in my building, of course I would have something to say about it too. So cool, I understand that. But I just don't. It's starting to feel a little weird to me. So that's all I had to say.
Okay. I mean, me and Brian had a conversation about it last night. I don't think this was any type of marketing employ by Dave. Like he had this long, elaborate, pink in the brain plan to, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, if I do all these stand-ups, then I can really garner some attention and I can really, drum up some stuff for me to do this documentary that I did in the middle of the pandemic where a bunch of people couldn't go out and, so we had a show out in the cornfield and I just wanted to document. So I did this documentary, you know what I'm saying, of me doing these shows and having this good time with these people or whatever during the pandemic. So let me go pick on the LGBTQ community because there's nobody that's going to drum up more controversy that's going to bring good press to the documentary than them. I don't think he did that. So that's one. Concerning the situation as a whole, like I said, like I ended up last night.
Why do you not think he did that?
Because he doesn't need to. What reason does Dave Chappelle have to go pick on? Has he ever done that in the past? Has Dave Chappelle ever picked on a group of people in the past to drum up press, like the Chappelle show?
Has he ever
The
used
Chappelle show.
controversy? Has he ever used controversy to get people to watch his stuff? That's his whole thing.
Wait a minute. Wait. Not to get press, not to get people to come and watch his stuff. That's his comedy style. That's like Chris Rock. I say Chris Rock was doing that. That's retarded.
No, I'm saying if he's using the controversy is the reason that people go like the outlandish thing. So we still quote the Chappelle Show today because of the outlandish things that he was saying. Sprinkle some crack on him, right? Like y'all talking about, right?
That's from
that's a controvert. That's not a controversial statement because we in our community we can see that happening, but it's that outlandishness. It's that I don't know how to explain it. All I know is it didn't feel right to me.
Well,
honestly, I don't think anything he had to say was wrong per se in the clip. I do wish he had left it alone. Because he said in his last special, all right, I'm done with this. I'm not doing no more on this.
He said, I'm done with those jokes.
Right. But he went back. Like it's like, all right, I'm gonna poke the bear one more time, and then I'm gonna stop. And then he came back and he poked the bear again.
I mean, he was telling jokes. He said, I'm the only. I mean, he
was telling jokes. I just wish he would move on. Like, I understand why he said what he said. Like, I conceptually and intellectually, I understand that he was basically calling out the fact that there's stuff going on around the special, and I'm going to address it. And I'm saying in my mind, why do you have to address it? You understand why it's happening. He understands why it's happening.
He knew that it was gonna happen. You said that yourself, Morgan. That he knew that he was gonna get this.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. You're saying he doesn't have to. I'm saying exactly. He doesn't have to.
I don't think he's doing that for that though. Like I don't agree with what you're saying about him using.
Then why bring it up? Then why bring up the movie? Why bring up the movie?
But once again, I'm gonna say what Morgan said. The dude has been making jokes about everything. Like your point, he's been controversial and making jokes about everything for a long time. So he doesn't really have to be controversial to get anybody to watch his thing. Dave is controversial when he gets up out of the bed in the morning. Like when he takes a shower, that's controversial. Like that's
he's a third rail comedian. He doesn't care about the reason that other comedians are upholding him is because of the time period in a shifting climate concerning all culture. He's still willing to go where other comedians won't because they're scared of losing endorsements. They're scared of losing whatever for their art. It's not. It doesn't have anything. So that this is part of the conversation me and Brian were getting into last night because I was saying the thing that bothers me most about this entire situation is the fact that the society as a whole is going into a place where we're getting ready to lose we're getting ready to lose liberties because of offense and fear. There are people that don't want to speak about situations altogether and tiptoe through anything that has to do with the LGBTQ community, period. People don't want to talk about now because it doesn't matter whether you agree or disagree. People would just rather leave it alone because you don't want to be perceived to have said the wrong thing. That alone is one part of this. The other part is
I care about being informed when I talk. I care about
everybody should.
Right. I care about being informed when I talk. So the reason I don't talk about the LGBT community is because I'm not interested in researching enough to know what I'm talking about. I can talk about COVID because I've researched about COVID. I believe that I know enough about COVID to say so. I literally work in a hospital and I hear it all the time. But why do I need to be talking about something that I got no, you know what I'm saying?
But he's a comedian.
Yeah, but he's a comedian. And
you're not a comedian. Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes, he's a comedian, but what he was doing in that clip is not comedy though, right?
Danny, though, he
was responding to the controversy.
Danny, would you create a character that's LGBTQ in your book?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you are willing to comment on the culture within your frame of art.
bruh, I don't have magical powers either. That don't mean I can't write a superhero story. I'm not.
That's why your analogy about I don't know enough about this, so I can't talk about it doesn't
I'm
quite
talking
work.
about to speak on it as an expert, to be
Yeah, but he's not.
spokesperson
But,
He's
for
not
something.
doing
Dave
that.
is not talking about it as an expert. Dave is talking about it through the lens of humor.
He's using humor
He's
to
using
highlight
it.
a
He's
problem.
using it through the lens of art.
Right.
So
And
and
that
that's why I'm saying you creating a character that's LBGTQ, you're speaking through art. You're using
right.
it through the lens of art.
I don't
That's
have
what I'm
I don't
saying.
have
That's the same. You and Dave would be doing the same thing.
I
The
don't
only
have a
difference
problem,
is
and I don't have a problem with the comedy. I never said I had a problem with the comedy special. I'm talking about him trying. If what he's trying to do is use the controversy, you say he doesn't need to. I'm
I don't
saying
think he's
okay,
doing that though. I think Dave
okay.
is just responding to if the people in Netflix, hold on, if the people in Netflix never, threatened to walk out and threaten to boycott or anything, he wouldn't have commented on it.
He wouldn't have had a reason to.
He wouldn't have had a reason to.
He addressed it because it would be like when Urban Meyer just got caught in his own bar with the chick dancing up on him, right? That's
Right.
a private issue between him and his wife, technically. So when he gets in front of the press, if the press says, "Yo, what's up with this?" and he chooses not to answer, that ain't gonna go well.
So
In
you feel
Dave's
like
situation,
so you feel like even though he said I'm not talking about this no more until we can come
he
to
said,
an
I'm not going to tell any more jokes about your community until
right.
I'm sure that you're
So
laughing with me
even
and
though
not."
you even though he
Technically, he
said that
didn't tell a joke
He
about the
didn't tell a
community
joke.
in the clip.
The
he
only
said
thing that he said, the only
people were
thing that he
laughing.
said the only thing that he was addressing is the fact that number one, when the representative from the LGBTQ community that boycotted Netflix walked out, when they walked out and she had the mic, she said that we reached out to Dave Chappelle to have this conversation with him, and he didn't answer us. So the reason he brought it up was to say nobody reached out to me. He said, I know it was said that they reached out to me. That didn't happen. So he's clearing it up to say, number one, they said that they reached out. I'm telling you that didn't happen. But I will tell you, I
So the
am
joke,
willing to meet with you. I am willing to meet with you, but I have
I,
conditions. So that's the
right,
reason he addressed it.
And the conditions were the joke, though. Like the
right.
conditions
The
were the
last
joke.
condition was a joke.
The
Well,
conditions were a joke, but also him saying, "Why does it seem like I'm the only one who can't go into the office?" That was the joke, right? People
No, it
laughing.
wasn't a
that
joke.
wasn't a joke. That wasn't a joke on the LGBTQ community, though.
Yes, it is because he's saying that they're using their power to get
No,
him not to
that's
come into
not
the
the.
office.
But do you understand what I'm saying? He's not making fun of them for being LGBTQ. He's making fun of the situation that involves LGBTQ
And
community.
he also
That's the whole
specifically
That's
deal.
not the same thing.
he also
No, it's the whole
specifically
thing.
spoke to the fact. He
No,
said
it's
it's
not
not.
though.
He
He was
specifically spoke to the fact that said that the media is making this out to be me against the LGBTQ community, and that's not what this is. He said this is about the media. This is about the corporate interests and what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. He made it very clear, though, this is not about me versus the LGBTQ community. Don't put that out there like that's what is going on, because it's not what's going on. He specifically says that.
sure.
So when he brings up the documentary, the reason he brought it up is because it's directly connected. Because he's saying, in this situation, in this situation right now, I had this documentary that had been sent out to these different festivals. That now, because of this controversy, those opportunities are gone, right? And these other movie studios that I try to reach out to, and all these other things that I'm trying to do, those opportunities are gone. So, with that being said, I don't want you guys to miss out on what I put together. So there's going to be 10 select theaters you can see it in. Blah 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 blah.
Okay.
That's why you made
Now
the
I
comment.
got a question. Honestly for all three of y'all. I had not heard of this documentary before you posted that clip. Okay. Had any of y'all heard about this documentary before this clip?
I didn't.
No.
No, nobody heard about this documentary. What I'm saying is that the timing of him saying, okay, I got all this controversy. Now nobody wants to buy my film. I'm a fan of Dave Chappelle. I know when something of Dave Chappelle's comes on. What I'm saying is that the timing of him saying nobody wants to touch this documentary now. If people wanted to touch it before, right? And he could have released it at any time. I'm assuming, I don't know how film festivals and stuff like that work.
Maybe it
Now
wasn't
the
done.
timing.
Well, if it's
It's
Now
an
the
issue of distribution, then and the fact that he's trying to get it into film festivals, then that means he was that then the documentary clearly wasn't in stages to be released right away. He was trying to go through traditional avenues to get it out. The film festivals are usually used to drum up interest. Somebody usually buys distribution rights after it starts doing well in film festivals.
Absolutely.
And in this case, if he's not able to get it to a film festival for anyone because of the controversy, then he's losing out on those traditional avenues. And for him to have to put it out now, this is his only recourse to put that out, or at least at the moment.
But that's what I'm saying.
Go ahead, Jamari.
That's what I'm saying.
But understand, he also said he was uninvited as well.
Mm-hmm.
He said
he already had those deals, and they canceled them.
He said he was uninvited after the closer.
Correct. So that part of it is true. That's not. I mean, I'm not disputing any of that at all. I'm just saying that's what it. I'm just saying that's what it sounds like from my standpoint, is that now that he's not he's either, as you're saying, he's been uninvited or no longer anyone wants to touch it, and that means that he may have had some people already looking into distribution. So if that's all, and if that's kind of an effect of of the controversy, then that's true. I don't dispute any of that. I was just kind of trying to see if I could clarify what he's talking about in terms of, like, was he doing this out of basically using it to stir up a news about it? I think it's just something that he may have been in the works with, but had not gotten to the point. And he may have lightly talked about it. A lot of times people like to tiptoe about stuff when they're making it or dealing with it. So it sounds like maybe he's mentioned it to some people here and there. Maybe he's mentioned it on low level, but he has not gone full tilt into talking about it. And this is now jumping. This all of the blowback has clearly gotten in the way of him releasing that documentary.
So this is a little bit the last thing I'll say about it is this is his fourth special, right, on Netflix. This was the closer was his fourth one, right?
I think so.
Yes.
And in almost all of them, he's talked about the LGBTQ community. He's talked about trans people. He's talked about everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the documentary, he said, was made during the pandemic. So I'm assuming 2020, early 2021. He's been shopping it, all of this stuff, and now, like I just said, to me, I'm not saying Dave Chappelle is doing this. I'm just saying it feels like something that Gutshot would do to use that influence to make some money, and that would rub me the wrong way. So
I don't understand why it rubs you the wrong way, though. I mean, marketing is marketing, dude.
Marketing is marketing, but not.
Well, Danny's saying
not when you're targeting.
I know what Danny's saying. Danny's saying he's using the jokes.
He's saying if he was
doing
doing
the LGBTQ community to prop up and market his documentary.
Marketing is marketing, but if you're already targeting a group of people who are already disproportionately being violently brutalized and attacked, that's like like black people. Like we all had a problem. We all had a problem when Donald Trump was doing it, just like
but that's not the same. No, come on, man, don't do that.
I'm not saying.
No, don't do that. Don't make that analogy. You're making it. That's a terrible.
But I can't make the analogy. Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Benson?
It's a tiny man. Look at him.
Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
What's up, Benson? Happy birthday! Happy belated birthday!
Say thank you.
Thank you.
Say daddy's always right.
Daddy's always right.
Couldn't he say?
Unfortunately, that's not true, man.
Couldn't he say it?
Unfortunately, that's not true, man.
Daddy,
Sorry about that.
Making that baby lie.
Yeah,
making that baby lie for you.
No, I get where you're coming from, Danny. Because if that was the case, I definitely would have an issue with it too. I don't care who it is that did.
Yeah, but here's the thing:
there's no world that he needs to do that. That would be like Michael Jordan needing to pick on garbage basketball. It's not even that.
Can I say one thing? I just want to say one thing. I think this is the actual point that Dave was trying to make.
Exactly.
The point that you're saying right now.
Exactly.
You're saying that he's targeting him. He's targeting them. And honestly, he's had 4 specials. He might have talked about the LGBTQ community in 2.
And everybody else too.
What was the third one? He didn't talk about the one.
Was the original? I think it was in the second.
Okay, fine. Let's say he talked about him in 3. He also talked about black people in 3. He also talked. at some this is his point is you can't limit if we're talking comedy, and comedy really is trying to connect with people. You can't limit, like my issue with this, and I've said this before. I understand if people are offended, people are offended. But if you are offended by him and what he's saying in his jokes about the LGBTQ community, but you was watching Dave Chappelle's show and you were laughing at Ashy Larry, and you were laughing at all those other black stereotypes that he made fun of. Time out. If you were laughing at when he was making fun of Hispanics, if you were laughing when he was making fun of black people, if you were laughing when he was making fun of Asian people, if you were laughing when he was making fun of white people, you got no leg to stand on. Now, if you're somebody who you just flat out never liked Dave Chappelle, all right, cool. I understand that. That's fine. But if you watched any of his comedy specials before, if you watched any of the Dave Chappelle show, and you were laughing your behind off at any of the jokes about black people, about watermelon, chicken and watermelon, if you laughed about any of that junk, if you laughed during that same special when he made the joke about being molested by the Catholic priest, if you laughed about the joke where he was talking about how when he took the vaccine, inside of him it was like black versus Asian people, if you laughed at any of these jokes, but you found that offensive,
I don't
have a problem with
joke.
you, and you come off as hypocritical to me.
I
Just
don't have a problem
me.
with the
Not
joke.
you.
Not you, Dan. I don't personally agree.
I know you're not talking
I
about
know
me.
you don't agree, but I'm just saying you can't sit there and laugh. You can't sit there and laugh about every other person who gets made fun of. It's like you the kid. You know what it is? It's like you the kid in the schoolyard, and they snap. Everybody's snapping on each other. Everybody's snapping. And you stand there, you laughing, ha 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 ha. And then somebody snap at you. I'm going to tell the teacher.
I
you
agree
can't
with you.
Sit there and laugh at everybody else, and then when the finger comes at you, not laugh. Now, once again, I'm not speaking to people who never liked Dave Chappelle. If you just flat out never liked Dave, okay, cool. If you never found Dave funny, that's fine. It's the same thing. I don't find Andrew Dice Clay funny.
Me either.
So whatever Andrew Dice Clay does, I don't like.
What he did in that last clip was not a comedy special, though. He was literally making a statement. He stood up on a stage and made a statement
about what happened as a result of the closer.
Right.
So I don't understand what the issue. Like, to me, that's not bad marketing. If I'm going out there, hold on. If I have a comic book and it's out there and I'm trying to get X to happen, and then X doesn't happen because Y happened, and then I go up and I'm like, well, the comic book was supposed to come out, but Y happened. So, guys, I'm going to do the comic on my own. That's like if a business deal fell through and you go up and you announce, well, I'm a self-published. Like, I don't see anything wrong with him going out and saying all this stuff happened because of the closer, and because all this stuff happened, so now I'm going to put this out and I'm letting you guys know about it.
But if you were already expecting it to happen, though, because he was expecting it to happen. If you're saying I had these deals,
I don't think he was expecting that to happen.
Yes, he.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think he expected I don't think he expected to lose the ability to distribute his documentary.
I think he did, because he made an express point to say that the companies that were in charge, for them to take away his right to put out his work.
That's in that statement, but that's before. That's not after. That's after. That's not before.
He knew that it was a risk before he did the stand up. He knew that it was a risk because of the community that he knew he had jokes for. You know,
all of the community.
It would be like
I think any of the communities that if the Space Jews joke would have done, if that would have affected that community, or the Catholic, like Morgan said, any of those communities could have been the community that was outraged. It just so happened to be the trans community.
But that's my point. We are so far, and I know I'm getting up, but we are so far down the road on what Dave Chappelle is. Like, he had LGBTQ jokes in Dave Chappelle's show. He had jokes in Dave Chappelle's show. But again, acting like he didn't have jokes then.
He did.
It could have been the context of the situation.
But why? Like, right? That's my point. Right now, we're acting like, and this is my general point about the society we're in. We're so ready to be outraged and upset about everything.
That's what I was
Instead
talking
of
about.
just taking a second and going, you know what? I was laughing at the Chappelle show years ago when he had the ass and titties dude, the gay lawnmower dude going back and forth. People was cracking up.
I have no problem with any of the jokes. I think in the community that's outraged, I agree with you. If they were laughing at all that stuff, they shouldn't be outraged now. But for me, I'm saying that the way that he went so far in the closer with the baby and the LGBT and the space
What
Jews.
did he say? I'm sorry.
He,
no, this is a larger. I'm gonna let it go. I'll let it go.
He went far because he even said in the special, it's gonna get worse. Right?
He says that every time, though. Right. Every comedy special, he's like, "Y'all gonna hate me now."
Okay, but he pushed the boundaries, and like I said, it could have been any of the communities. So he had to know that any of these communities could be outraged by this, especially in the time that we are now. So for then you say, "Oh, the community's outraged. Now my stuff is getting blocked. So here you can buy these tickets to these 10 shows in these 10 cities." That's
why is that wrong? Why is that wrong, though?
But
Would you rather he have a commercial?
I will say that
he put up a commercial.
I will say that part doesn't make sense to me. If that part doesn't make sense to me because it's one, again, he doesn't need to. Dave Chappelle does not need help drumming up. Like when people found out that he came back and he was doing stand up again.
Then why take it to film festivals? If he doesn't need help, why take it to film festivals?
Take what to film?
I don't think that's the issue.
He's not a distributor.
That's not. So if you really think that Dave Chappelle planned all of this from the beginning till now to say, I know that me picking on any of these communities will get controversy started and it will help me sell this documentary. If you really think that's a thing, when Dave Chappelle could say tomorrow, or Chris Rock could say tomorrow, or Eddie Murphy could say tomorrow, or Steve Harvey could say tomorrow, I'm coming out with a documentary that I'm putting together all of the comedy shows that I did during the pandemic. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to take you behind the scenes and I'm going to show you this documentary. Steve Harvey could say, if you want to see what I did for Marjorie, you know what I'm saying? When we went on our honeymoon or whatever, I got a documentary. I documented the whole thing. I'm going to put it out. If Trevor Noah's traveling the country and he says, I got a documentary for all my
difference between selling 1 million tickets and selling 1 billion tickets, though. There's a difference.
You can't be.
What is he supposed to do? Is he not supposed to market it? Hold on, is he not supposed to market it at all?
I'm not saying he's not supposed to market it. I'm saying that.
So what would be the correct way, the correct way for him to market it?
I'm not saying. I'm just saying that it rubbed me. I'm not saying that it's wrong for him to do it. I'm saying it rubbed
you're the one that's saying that it's rubbing him the wrong. You're rubbing you the wrong way. So I'm saying, how would it rub you the right way? Would you prefer him to do a commercial?
I'm just saying that the outrage. And we see it all the time. But you've heard me say that I don't like it when the Sonic the Hedgehog thing came out. When they purposely put Sonic out, making him look stupid, making him look weird, and saying this is what it's gonna look like in the movie.
You think they purposely did that?
Yes, I 100% believe they purposely did that and had all of us.
Dude, I have a degree in 3D animation. I'm going to tell you right away. There's no studio.
They came 3 days later with the fix.
No, it was not 2 days later.
No,
dude, they finished the film.
No, they went back in. Now they took a little bit more than
dude,
that.
I have a degree in 3D animation. Please listen to me. They finished the film. The look was the look. They put it out thinking that everyone was going to like the look.
No, they didn't.
The backlash they got, they lost money, dude.
Bruh, they gained money.
And then they
lost money. They lost money because they had to go back, spend the money to go back to the film houses, to the animation houses, to fix it up. You're conspiracy theorists right now.
Okay,
you're a little bit into the conspiracy theories right now.
Before we get to the list, let me just. I very seriously think if you think that Dave Chappelle seriously said, okay, I know I'm going to offend all of these communities when I do this stand up. But I also know I have a documentary coming out. So all press is good press. I'm going to say everything I can to piss them off, cause a controversy. Know I'm going to get canceled, because if I get canceled, that's going to give me the press that I need in order to make my documentary even more successful. Instead of him just being able to say, hey, I'm Dave Chappelle. I did a bunch of shows during the pandemic. I had other people come out during the pandemic to do a show. Yo, do y'all want to see it? If you think that people weren't going to still respond and say, yo, absolutely, I want to see when Chris Rock came out there and you guys did a stand up together, when this artist, if Dave Chappelle does not need to do anything extra to get people to come and watch a documentary of him doing stand up with other dope comedians there. It's like when he did Block Party, when he did the Block Party movie, right? He did the Block Party movie, he put it out. He could have easily stood anywhere and said, "Yo, I'm gonna do this Block Party movie with Mos Def and the rest of these guys. We're gonna throw an actual Block Party, and we're gonna document all of it. Do y'all want to come see the film?" You think people are gonna be like, "Nah, come on, bro." And he's even bigger than he was when he put out Block Party. I'm just saying that I understand what you're saying, and if he did do that, I have an issue with it. I just think the likelihood of him doing that, especially based on who he is absolutely ridiculous. That's all I'm saying. I think
I want to say one last thing. Because I want to make it clear. I'm not saying that people cannot be offended by what Dave Chappelle said in the closer. We've talked about this before. I cannot say
we talked about it on the show already.
I'm addressing what Lance John said. He said no one is saying he can't joke about the LGBT community. It's when you defend a transphobe is a problem. I think people aren't paying attention to what he's saying. Like, once again, if you're offended, you're offended. I'm not going to tell you that you can't be offended. My entire point has been, if you weren't offended by when the hundreds of times where Dave stepped over the line before, if you were cracking up then about him stepping over the line about the not anything else, if you weren't offended then, I think you need to think about why you weren't offended then and why you are offended now.
We could get it. We could get into
the only thing I'm saying,
actually, but we can definitely get into a conversation on that.
That's all I'm saying. I'm only addressing what Lance said about him defending a transphobe. I think it's a deeper thing there, but my whole point is, if you weren't offended when Dave went over the line before, and I can think of 10 times where even I was like, whoa, but I still laughed because I saw the joke. But if you weren't offended then, you need to wonder, why weren't you offended then, and why are you offended now? That's my only thing. That's all I got to say. All right, we could do the list. I'm my bad.
All right, so I don't remember who went first last week. So again, let me recap real quick. Our top 5 this week. Let me make sure I put it up there. Actually, all right. So I don't. Never mind. Yeah, you see it up at the top. Top 5 for this week is top 5 sports movies of all time. We're doing the top 5 best, which means, you know what I'm saying, it's somewhat subjective. You could have some latitude to be, you know, where it's a great film versus one of your favorites. You know, you can kind of combine them. But, you know, of course, we're still going to get into it because I'm sure there's going to be some divergence of what we consider to be a good film. So
I think Jamari got to go first, man. You got to make up for the last list you had, bro.
Oh, you're going to throw me out there again? Cool.
Hey,
let's do it. The first time I truly.
That's all right. I'm giving you a chance to redeem yourself.
Yes.
That's
the first time I truly did not understand.
I was doing something nice.
I'd like to think I did a better job this time, because this was, as soon as I heard that this was was coming up, and I was just like, yeah, this is one of these potentially deeply personal ones, and that's kind of where I went on my list, because I feel like a good sports movie has to do a couple of things. I think it has to at least try to show the sport that it's using in an interesting way, or at least entertaining way. I think you gotta tell an interesting story, or attempt to do that, and you need to have at least one big moment in your movie.
Got to. I agree with all of that.
So,
go
ahead, man.
And this was a hard list. I'm not even gonna lie, because I whittled it down to 8, and I finally got my 5. and my 5 is probably going to make some people look crazy. I don't care. My
Go
first
ahead,
one,
man. Go ahead.
my first one is Love and Basketball. My first, laugh.
Why
And
you
I'll
laughing
go
at
ahead
Danny?
and tell
Don't
you.
do that,
Go
man.
ahead.
Don't
I have
do
no
that.
problem with it. And I'm gonna
Don't
tell
do
you
that,
why.
Danny. Go
Not a
ahead.
bad pick.
Hey, I wouldn't
me
pick
tell
it,
you
but
why.
hey,
Go
Go
classic.
ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'll go ahead
Okay.
and explain why on this
No,
one.
go ahead. Go ahead. We'll get into
Okay.
it. Go
All
ahead.
right. I'll wait.
It's 8:46.
Yeah. My fourth, The Sandlot.
Solid pick. Love the
Okay.
Sandlot.
The Sandlot.
Okay.
The third, He Got Game, which probably is the one that I was the most. It has to be on this list.
Oh man, that's a good pick too. I like that one.
My final two are football. Number 2, Any Given Sunday.
Ooh, that's a good pick. That's a good one.
And number 1, Remember the Titans.
Oh man.
And I won't even lie to you. I don't know why this is my number 3 pick is the only one that I was like, it had to be on this list.
Hey, Remember the Titans is the perfect film. I don't care what nobody says.
Okay, Any Given Sunday.
Remember the Titans.
And one is Remember the Titans. All right, bet. I have. Hold on. Let me see who I got in nets to type in. Danny's on their nets to type in. So
Bet. All right. So my top 5 meets all of his criteria also. But 5 and 4 are two of my personal favorites. I watch them all the time, so they had to be on my list. Your list was really good though. Number 5 for me is White Men Can't Jump.
I
Them
can't,
two jokers.
I can't even be mad at that.
That movie right there, bro, is a classic to me. You can watch it anytime. Number 4, I got 4 kids. The Mighty Ducks. That's a dang old good sports film. I don't care what nobody says. Number 3, Show Me the Money. Jerry Maguire. That's my love. He had Love and Basketball. I got Jerry Maguire.
Is that like a? Go ahead. Nope. Go ahead. Nope. I'll wait.
Go ahead, though.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Number 2, and my top 2 is the same. Any Given Sunday and Remember the Titans. My top 2 is the same as his. Oh, hold on. I'll copy it for you. That's my
All
list.
right, Morgan, you want to go or you want me to go, man?
No, you go.
All right, here we go. Mine's is different than yours. I think outside of 2. All right, number 5. Above the Rim.
With Marlon Wayans?
Yeah. Like you say it like he was a star. What are you doing? You say it like he was a star. What you talking about? Marlon Wayans, like that was a starring vehicle for him.
Why you not talk bad about Marlon?
You can
Wayans?
name like 3 dudes before you get to Marlon Wayans.
I'll give you this. It definitely has a moment or two in it.
It has more than a moment, but we'll get it.
It definitely has a moment. So
number 4.
I'm not going to be
number
mad
4. Remember the Titans.
4 at 4?
Number 4.
Bro, your top 3 better be killer.
Number 3. Rocky 4. Best boxing match in a movie. There's not a better one. Not a better one.
Funny you say that.
Not a better one.
But go ahead.
Best training montage. Best fight. Yes, I said it.
I mean, I'm not gonna. Okay,
number 2.
I got something else above
number
it. But
2.
Go ahead.
Number 2. Varsity Blues.
Okay. Hey, this your list.
It's my list. I know it's my list. And number 1, Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday.
Best football movie ever. Hands down.
Had to be in the top.
I'm
You're gonna have to explain Varsity Blues to me, but
I will definitely explain Varsity Blues.
I'm less about having varsity. I don't have as much of a problem with being on the list, but being as high as it is where I kind of like. Okay, but go ahead.
You got Sandlot, but whatever.
All right, so
I can definitely.
So for me,
I heard Sandlot and Mighty Ducks. So I'm just trying to figure out.
You know what?
You
go right ahead on that.
Go right ahead.
So for me, my number 5, I waffled on it because, like I said, I knew this list was going to be disrespectful because there's a lot of really good films that, and we'll get to the honorable mentions later.
Just go ahead.
For me personally, it's best. So that includes my favorites. So my number 5 is Major League 2. That's my number 5.
Major League too.
Wild Thing.
Yes,
Make a
Wild
number two?
Thing.
Wait,
Look
who
at,
are Epps?
look at the scoreboard now, sucker. No, Grasshopper. Like all of the
Was
that
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 too?
was
And I do
that
love.
was one of
I
my favorite
love
sports
both
films
of
to
those.
watch
I love
when
both
I
of
was a
those.
kid. When I was growing up, I loved every time that came on. I watched it every
All
time.
right,
I love that movie. I love that movie. It's a really good movie because starting from where they were, Pinkman was the batter in that last
All right,
scene.
I
Like he
got
was
you.
awesome.
I take the replacements over Major League too, but okay.
I would.
I wouldn't argue with
No.
so much. That's why I said it's the number 5 for me was like that was a personal favorite. That's why I made it because I could have put Sandlot on there too. Sandlot was actually in that spot. But I didn't like Sandlot as much. I like Major League 2 more than I like Sandlot. Like I love that movie.
All right, number 4.
Number 4, $1 Million Baby. That film is freaking spectacular. It hits you directly in the throat, nuts, and everything else. But it also you definitely root for Hilary Swank's character like crazy. Clint Eastwood gets to be Clint Eastwood. Like it's a good film. I love that film. And it has a moment in it. The moment where old girl cheats and she breaks her neck and gets paralyzed. Oh my god. There might not be a
mad
more
as hell at you, Morgan, for spoiling the movie.
Oh my bad.
Yeah, I have never made it through $1 Million Baby. Like I keep trying to watch it. I never made it through. Same with Martin.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Number 3, Rocky 4. Y'all already knew Rocky 4 was gonna be on there because Rocky 4 is.
We're gonna force it to be on there.
No. You don't. No, hold on. Don't force.
You see how disrespectful he is?
I don't know what the F you talking about. There's no forcing Rocky. If there's no Rocky film in your top
This
5,
man, he ain't even got Rocky on. He got Mike.
You already suspect if Rocky's not even.
Explain why there's no Rocky movie in mind.
He got Mighty Ducks. He talking to me. He got Jerry Maguire, and he trying to tell us about Rocky 4.
Get that out of here.
Bro, do your thing.
Get out of here. Rocky is one of the best franchises, the most successful.
Morgan, go ahead.
Mighty Ducks is a better franchise than Rocky.
Man, if you don't get the
go ahead, Morgan.
Number 2, Creed 2. Y'all already knew that was going in there. You ain't got to worry about it. It is the quintessential boxing film for me personally because Rocky 4 was so.
You know what? If you got Rocky 4, I understand why you got
Creed 2.
Creed 2 goes and
Creed 2 is literally
it's a perfect.
It's trying to be Rocky 4.
Sorry.
It's like a remake. It's basically a remake.
But it's
it ain't even a better story. But go ahead.
You can make an argument for Rocky 4 or Creed 2. For me personally, it could be 1, 2.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Creed's awesome, and I'm not putting it on the list.
And then,
number 1, Remember the Titans.
You ain't even got any given time.
I don't need any given Sunday on there.
I don't know how.
You see this disrespect for Jamie Foxx?
Any given Sunday,
I don't need it on there.
Do you see this disrespect for Jamie Foxx? It continues.
No.
Disrespect for Jamie Foxx. He's back.
Now it's your turn for the tinfoil.
I love Jamie Foxx, but I don't think Any Given Sunday is better than. I don't think Any Given Sunday is better than Remember the Titans.
I can't.
Jamie
Foxx pay you?
Jamie Foxx, man.
Do you get a check from Jamie Foxx every week?
Jamie Foxx. Did Jamie Foxx
get a check from Jamie Foxx every week? I need to know.
Say what?
I'm talking to Javon. Do you get a check from Jamie Foxx?
I don't get it. Every time
I feel like you will get any chance you get to slip Jamie Foxx into something. You will.
Jamie Foxx was on my he was on my vocal talent list, and they tried to play me for that. So
LL Cool J and Jamie Foxx literally fought on the set.
What?
LL Cool J and Jamie Foxx literally fought on the set.
Listen, Jamar, you asking
that doesn't mean the movie's awesome. That movie's not that freaking great.
Any Given Sunday is not that great.
Okay.
Nah.
Dude,
and I love Al Pacino.
You got Creed 2, man. You got Creed 2.
I will say this about Al Pacino.
Creed, what? Don't try to say that about Creed 2 like it's not a great film. It is.
I didn't say it's not a great film, but it's still just
what you just said was you said you got Creed 2 as if that's not supposed to be there.
It ain't better than it ain't better.
You got it over Creed. You got it over Rocky 4.
False, fake news.
Creed 2 is the third best Rocky film.
People telling you that.
The third best.
Which one?
Yes. Rocky 1 is the second best Rocky film.
No.
Yes, the first Rocky film is the second best.
Rocky 3 is the second.
With Clubber Lang?
Rocky 3.
What's the first?
Take Clubber Lang over
Clubber Lang is
Apollo?
Rocky
Thank you,
3.
Marcus, for speaking
Clubber
back.
Lang is 3.
Rocky 3.
Rocky 1 and 2 are Apollo Creed.
Rocky 1 and 2 are Apollo. Rocky
goes
3 is
4,
Clubber Lang.
3,
Clubber
1,
Rocky
Lang,
4 is
Ivan
Drago.
Drago.
Drago. Number 5 is Tommy Morrison. Number 6 is Antonio Tarver, I believe. After
And
that,
then
you
the
get
Creed,
Creed,
and
I
then you get
believe,
Yeah.
and then you get to the second Creed. There's no way to beat so the reason I have Creed 2 there is because Rocky 4 is already like the top shelf boxing film possibly ever, right?
Right.
So that's already there.
So it's better than Creed 2.
Then you go and you find a guy that can be just as formidable as Drago was in Rocky 4, and you bring all of
He
the
really
elements,
wasn't,
the fact
but
that
okay.
he killed his father, the fact that
Drago
he
was the
played
man,
that
dude. You
man.
need to stop that.
That movie's awesome. I don't give a crap what
Your
you
love
say.
affair with Creed.
That fight
Your
montage
love
I'm gonna tell
affair
you
with
something
Creed
about
is
that movie.
weird.
Y'all
I'm
bro.
gonna tell you,
y'all don't
this is
think
my
Raging
thing
Bull
about
is
that.
a
I think that when they made that movie, they were on the right track, but they should have waited for that to have been the third Creed movie.
They might as well take
Was
it.
it,
They might
was
as
it
well
not?
flip the
Was
script
it
to
not? I
Rocky
mean,
4.
I loved it. First of all, massive proponent for both Creed movies.
I mean, we
Loved
love
them.
most of these movies.
Was
We-
about
that
to
goes
be
without
my
saying.
list. It didn't make my list because, kind of in your case, I felt like if I can't have a Creed movie on here without a Rocky movie, so that's kind of why that canceled out. Only reason, because Creed
It's not
1 was initially my number 3. The first Creed was my initial number 3.
I actually
Both Creed
actually
films are
agree.
awesome.
I prefer the first Creed over all of those movies.
I agree. Creed 1 was better than Creed
Mhm.
2.
No.
And like
I
you,
think
I
no way.
love 4. I love Rocky 4 was the first Rocky movie I watched, and the as much as I
Your boy
wanted
talking to you, man.
the House of Fire
I didn't
montage
say
where
it's
he's
not a
running
good
up the
movie.
mountain.
I just said
is
it's not better
amazing.
than Creed 2. It's not better than Creed 2.
Wait,
Y'all
before
don't-
we go any further, can
It's
we
not better
really
than Creed
address timeout? Can we address the fact that Danny has Jerry Maguire in his in his list? How
What-
many
what's wrong with
football
Jerry
scenes
Maguire?
are in Jerry Maguire, dude?
4, at least 4. It
I'm
was
sorry?
a sports movie.
They don't even have a full game. It's
It was
not
a sports movie,
Yeah,
dude.
the biggest sports
Is it a
moment is
sports movie,
one
though?
moment in the
Exactly.
dance.
It's literally one
It's
moment.
the start of the third act, I think, basically.
Yes.
The
There's only
dance-
one football moment that matters. That's
You
it.
legit,
at the
you
end, bro.
legit came out, and it's number 3 on your list too.
I'm not
I know,
like
that's
I'm not
terrible,
gonna
dude.
I'm not because there
That's
are some
terrible, dude.
there's some what I call fuzzy sports movies that a lot of people put up in the Moneyball appears on a lot of lists.
Yeah,
if you go
Moneyball
look
is
it
not
up.
a sports
Yeah.
movie.
And I understand why people put Moneyball in. I understand why people like it so much, but if I'm gonna, it fails it fails on one of the things that I like to put on is the whole you got to show moments in the sport, and I don't really feel like they're doing that in that movie. It's not about
And you
that's
tried
not
to
what it's
clown
about.
me about Varsity Blues, and you got Jerry Maguire.
No, I'm not. I wasn't
Varsity
clowning
Blues
you.
is a
Varsity
I'm
Blues is
classic,
a
dude.
bad suspect.
I'm
Cause
saying I never
Varsity
made-
Blues is a classic, dude. Are you crazy?
Varsity Blues
No.
is a mad suspect, bro. Like you
So
could have put
what's
Rudy
suspect
on there.
about it?
You could have put Rudy on there. You could have put Friday Night Lights on there. You could have put.
Actually, I never saw Friday Night Lights, so
You
I
could've-
don't put
you could've
movies
put-
on that I haven't
You
seen.
could have put He Got Game on there. You could have
Not
put.
over.
You
not
could have
over-
put.
not over any-
You
not
definitely
over,
put White Man
Over the
Can't
Rim.
Jump, The Sandlot.
If you'd said
mean,
it was
come
your
on.
number 4
I'm
and
not
number
putting Sandlot
5,
on my
I
damn
could have
list. You
seen
must be
Varsity
crazy.
Blues being on your list.
Another close one for me was so Sandlot was one of them, but A League of Their Own was another one too. I like
That was
movie.
that was going to be on my list too.
Some
A
people
League of Their
have-
Own was up
I
there.
That
can
was
see
going to be
that.
on my list too.
Yeah, A League of Their Own.
This is as I said, this list is this is a deeply personal list, and I feel like certain movies are gonna touch people different ways. One of the movies that I threw around in my top 10 was Brian's Song, and I don't know if I might be the only one who's watched Brian's Song.
I saw it a long time ago, but I don't remember it. The one that almost made my list, and it would be 5B, was Warrior.
Yeah.
I
The
love
reason I hear it's good. I've not seen it. That's what this
Warrior
so
is
many,
a beast.
Let me bring something up to y'all.
Bull
This
Durham
came-
was about to go on mine.
Let me bring
I've never
something up
seen
to
I'm from the
Bull
y'all.
Bulls, so you know.
I never
Because-
seen it.
While I was doing my list,
years, though?
and I was going, I'm going through like I start with a big list and I'm just breaking stuff down, and then I start thinking about stuff that I've wanted to always watch. Warrior is one of those movies I never got to watch it, so I can't put it on there. And
Yeah.
then What about some of the movies that people think are the standard, like The Wrestler and that movie?
Yeah.
I watched The
I've
Wrestler.
never seen
I
The
thought it
Wrestler.
was okay.
I've never seen it, but it's consistently
it
one of
either.
these thrown up, and it revives like three people's careers.
Blue
Who's that?
Chip.
You know, there's a lot of movies that are
Blue
like
Chip, you know, I'm mad I forgot about Blue Chips
Hoosier.
because it was a fun movie.
man.
Wouldn't put it on my top, but it's definitely a fun movie.
Love and Basketball was a great pick. That was a good reach in your
That's
bag
a
pick
good
right
one
there.
though. That's a good one though.
That was a good pick.
Is that a basketball film? I thought that's more of a love.
Absolutely, it's a
story.
basketball movie, and
Bro,
So,
it's more of a
If
basketball
Jerry
film
Don't do
than
that.
Jerry Maguire
Jerry
is.
Maguire
no,
scores
no,
movies
no.
that
Let's
love
get into
basketball.
this.
Don't do that.
Let's get into
Don't
this.
do
Let's
that.
talk about
Don't do
Kobe,
that, Danny.
because
Don't do
the
that, bro.
entire movie revolves around the two careers of both players. We get
me
to
see.
see them go through their careers, through them
We
You
get to
growing
see
up.
them
actually see them play basketball.
You see them play, both of them, and they both had trials and tribulations throughout their careers. You see them on the court. You see them practicing. They have the montages with that. But
Basketball is in the title.
And it's an
Nobody
all-time great movie for that genre, I would say.
Jerry
has
Maguire's
been
about
able to tell an effective romance story dealing with sports. And you did with this movie. You have love interest in
I
sports.
prefer Queen Latifah's.
You have love interest in sports.
Just Right.
I prefer Just Right. I prefer Just
You're on
Right.
drugs. You're on drugs.
I prefer
Buddhist
Queen
man.
Latifah in comic.
Yeah, Buddhist man, bro. I almost turned your thing off.
Y'all can say what you want.
I almost
that
turned
was
your
a good
video
movie.
off.
This man
That's
just
insane.
listen.
Bro, you got Mighty Ducks on your list too. So I mean,
Seriously.
You
Mighty
trying
Ducks
to-
is a classic.
First of all,
You got
Just
Mighty
Right
Ducks on your
failed
list,
trying to
man.
convince me that Queen Latifah and Common could fall in
I
love
put
with
Bender
each
like
other.
Beckham
That's
over
the
Mighty
first
Ducks.
part. That was my first
You know what, Morgan? I agree with you.
Yeah, I put Bender like Beckham
I'll
over
put
Mighty
Bender
Ducks.
like Beckham over Mighty Ducks.
Yep.
I'm not mad at the Mighty Ducks. pick.
No, you wouldn't.
I'm not
Stop
mad at
that.
that.
Stop
I
that
would.
line, bro.
I'm not mad at Mighty Ducks.
Yo, you and these Disney movies, man. Get out
Mighty
of here.
Ducks.
Dude.
Y'all didn't like Mighty Ducks? Are you serious?
It hits the
didn't say I didn't
criteria.
like
It hits the criteria.
I mean, I
It
liked it when I
definitely
was
has
10
moments.
or
And the last
12,
part of the
however old I
movie
was
where
when
they
it came
actually
on.
played the final game, you could have put that against a lot of other stuff. Yeah, they do a lot of the comedic stuff, but it actually is fun to watch. Go back and
Mighty
watch
Ducks
that
is a
first.
classic.
I loved it when I was a preteen.
You'll love it
Hey.
if you put it on.
Hey, while y'all playing, some other movies I had to consider that I was like, nah, I can't put that on there. Happy Gilmore.
Oh,
So
let's get it.
Let's do this.
Because on my 6, 7, and
we-
8, the Water Boy was
Hold
on there.
Time out.
Yeah, but
And I will tell
Time
you,
out.
the Water Boy.
I love Water Boy,
Water
cuz.
Boy.
I
Bobby
love Water
Boucher.
Boy, cuz.
It's
Let's do
every
this because
it's
Jamari,
everything on here.
Jamari, let's do this because Jamari and I talked about
We
this.
talked about this, and
What's
I
the
have
funniest sports
now.
movie?
The
Funniest
funniest.
sportsman.
Funniest, we
Oh,
got
man.
okay.
Right.
I'll give you 4 right now.
Talladega
And the
Nights
one
is
that you
number
got
one.
is on the list. The one that
Dodgeball.
you got, the one that we went back and forth is on the list.
Major League 2.
No,
No,
Dodgeball.
not
Happy
even
Gilmore.
close.
Happy Gilmore.
Gilmore, okay.
Happy Gilmore.
Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights.
Talladega
We're
Nights
talking
and
about the
Dodgeball.
Water Boy. So there's
I give you the Water Boy, but Dodgeball, like
in
Danny said,
Dodgeball. That was the last one.
that's
Dodgeball
it.
is
That's
So
the
hilarious.
we
fun-
got
those
that.
are
So
top four
those
funny.
4 I'll put up against just about anything. And then yes, we can get into the more, the stuff that blends the comedy and sports a little bit more. I personally love basketball. I think that's hilarious.
That
too,
movie was terrible. Stop.
but it's
The
funny.
movie
as hell.
was terrible, but it
That
was.
movie
Oh
was
no, it's not.
terrible.
Am I saying it's a good movie? No.
That movie needs
Is
to
it
be burned.
entertaining as all hell? I love that.
They need to
mess.
burn the negatives. Or
No.
whatever it is called.
Absolutely
Sandlot.
not.
Sandlot
Oh,
is a
here's something else. Here's something I think that also could be.
Sandlot was not
considered with
funny,
this whole
dude.
thing.
What are you doing?
It
Sandlot
was
was
funny.
funny.
in spot. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
All right, yo.
They literally.
Killing me, small. Come on now, that movie
All
was
right,
funny. Stop it.
All right, yo.
A League of Their Own. White Man Can't Jump was
Okay.
funny too.
White Man
White
Can't
Man
Jump.
Can't
Yeah, it
Jump
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
White Man Can't Jump.
I still give it
definitely
to Talladega Nights. It was the funniest one.
So
Yeah,
you got
Shake and
above the
Bake.
rim.
Shake
I
and bake.
kind of feel like above the rim is it gets what it gets because the soundtrack was really good.
What you talking about?
Probably.
I kind of look.
They had a great. They had a great
It literally
tournament
has one
at
of the
the end.
biggest songs from
You
that
had
era.
homeboy. You had homeboy
Regulate.
balling in corduroys.
Then you go back and look at that. That was a,
You
that,
had
I think the
balling in
soundtrack.
corduroys
Is
and penny loafers.
I feel like it's because most people own that soundtrack.
I mean, you can say
it is an all-time great soundtrack.
That
most
sound-
of these,
that
most of these
soundtrack-
movies
that
got
sound-
good
some
soundtracks.
movies get
Any Given Sunday
driven
got
by
one of
the-
the best
I don't
soundtracks.
even admit Any Given Sunday soundtrack is one of the big reasons why it got what it got.
No.
Any given
Especially
Sunday,
towards the
not
end,
any given,
like,
no.
over
Any
the
given
end of that
Sunday
movie.
is an amazing movie. You need to stop that. Stop that.
Didn't he get an Oscar?
Morgan,
It's number 2
fix
on
your
my
face.
list. How
Fix
you gonna
it.
think? You think I don't know it's great?
Fix your face, Morgan.
Any Given Sunday got an Oscar though, right?
I don't know
If it
about
did,
that.
it was for Al Pacino because he's the man.
No, he didn't get it for that.
I don't know.
I would even go so
Al
far as he was
Pacino,
miscast.
It's Al Pacino, bro. Look, that's one of the reasons I watch the movie because Al Pacino. I watch Al Pacino in anything. But
That's right, because you don't like Jamie Foxx.
I don't know what kind of drugs you guys do, bro, but you got to stay off them.
Man, you make it so easy, man. You just set them up.
Bro.
You set them up so great.
It's terrible
If
that you should.
I would listen.
Whatever, bro. I don't care.
I still don't understand how you have Creed 2 over Rocky 4 when it's the same movie. They just redid.
It's not the same movie.
It's the same movie.
Bruh, Drago killed this man's father. And then his son comes to talk trash to him. And Drago does too. In his own country. And then he's got to fight to try to live up to his father's name. Right? Because he's got to fight to try to live up to his father's name. He's got to overcome Drago's son that's been training literally his whole life because Drago is obsessed.
I feel like
Creed 2 is better than if he dies, he dies.
I love Creed 2, but they could have made that movie work so much better if they'd waited to the third movie to do it because they missed the best opportunity. They had the guy for him to fight. They had the guy who whooped his ass when he first tries to go out and go and be a boxer. He goes into the ring. They tell him he puts the car up for up against the other guy.
Skip over all of that.
Yeah, that dude. That should have been the second movie right there. That could have been his other lane, and it would have built up. That would have built.
But then y'all would have said that's just Rocky.
I honestly felt like they wanted to do that movie. They wanted.
That's because the Creed movies are just Rocky with the black dude.
It's the same thing.
But
it's the same thing.
Come on, okay.
It's the same plot.
First off,
was Creed 1 end exactly the same way as Rocky?
Yes or no?
Bro. Yes or no?
Yes, it absolutely does.
Does Creed 1 does it end the same way as Rocky 1?
If Creed get a statue in Philadelphia, I quit. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, how does Creed 2 end? Explain to me how Creed 2 ends.
With him dubbing him.
And how does Rocky 4 end?
Like that? Huh?
How does Rocky 4 end?
In Russia.
Fight in Russia.
In Russia.
And what happened?
Rocky 4 was the only reason I have Creed 2 over Rocky 4 is because
I'm making the point that Creed 2, the Creed franchise is literally just taking the plots from the Rocky franchise.
We already know that though.
So
you're saying that's a problem? Is that a problem? When movies do that, that's a problem?
Sometimes yes.
You just said
that's ridiculous.
Terrible.
That's ridiculous.
I don't think that has anything to do with it.
That's ridiculous. That might be your worst point.
I don't hold any of that against the movies.
I'm not holding it against the movie.
Yes, you are.
Just saying that. I'm just saying that. Did you not get a sense of deja vu when you watched? When you watched Creed 2?
Bruh, the stakes were higher. This man killed your father.
How are the stakes higher?
He killed your father. Then came and talked trash to you in your own place, in your own country. Huh?
How are the stakes higher? Drago killed a man.
What are you talking about? How the stakes higher? He's trying to live up to his father. He's trying to live up to his
stakes higher. Though.
Rocky was closer to Creed. Rocky was closer to Creed than Apollo was, though. I mean, Rocky was closer to Creed than Adonis was to Creed, though.
Exactly.
So the stakes were higher in the original.
And I think that movie, Creed, should not have worked. That's why I like Creed as much as everything could have gone wrong with Creed.
But you just said the stakes were higher. I'm trying to figure out how the stakes were higher when in one movie. Hold on, wait. When in one movie you had a boxer literally die in the ring. You had a man kill another man in the ring. And then you had Rocky stepping in the ring with a dude who literally can punch somebody to death.
And literally will say, if he dies,
he dies. He dies.
And he don't care about your life.
Now,
how is that? How is
because of that
higher?
That's your moment.
How are you get a higher? Creed 2 don't have higher stakes in that, man.
The emotional stakes might have been higher.
Even that, that's iffy.
You know
how is that it?
Because
he just watched his
only because
it's cool. We're not going to agree, guys.
But no, I think that's only because Drago's son was more emotionally he had the
He
more
was
risk emotionally.
the Drago
Fine, that's
storyline
fine.
was the more emotional storyline.
But that don't mean the stakes were higher in general. The stakes in Rocky 4 were higher.
The
Yeah,
stakes.
Drago was
he should
killing
have
dudes.
died. Rocky
Okay.
should have died.
Okay, so
Rocky darn near
beat that man into
indeterminism in
retirement.
Rocky IV.
some of the reasons I
Drago
would
beat
say the
Rocky
stakes were
into
higher in Creed
retirement.
2.
You understand that, right?
Some of the
Throw in a
reasons I
damn
would say the stakes,
towel.
the stakes were higher in Creed 2 to me. One, because Adonis is already trying to learn about his father's legacy and live up to that. That's number
I
one.
understand that.
He's got his best friend to help him do that. Right? So when the film starts, he's trying to deal with what we saw happen in Creed 1, which he needed, which is why Jamari's point about if they had to put this movie last, it would have worked. I don't disagree with that at all. They didn't. So I'm just taking the movie for what it was. They could have done that, and I would have been, that would have been awesome. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what they did.
I think
So when the
if
movie
they had done
starts,
that, if they had done that, I think you would have catapulted those three movies. That would have been one of the best trilogies you could have ever had because
without question,
question, the entire Creed thing should not have worked. But they did everything right with at least with the first movie they did everything right, and I don't feel like the second movie's bad in any stretch. I love them.
I don't either.
I just think that they jumped the gun.
I like
but that's so I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to explain why the stakes are higher. Like Danny said,
those stakes are higher than life and death.
The emotional stakes are definitely higher because again, Adonis already had a troubled childhood because he didn't have his father. Don't act like y'all didn't see the first movie. Don't act like you didn't see the first movie.
We all saw the movie, Morgan.
All right, bet. So all right. So there's no point in me explaining it. If you don't understand it, you don't want me to explain it either.
I'm asking you for the stakes. I'm not asking you to recap the movie.
The stakes are he's already trying to live up to his father's legacy. He's trying to live up to his father's legacy from the first film, but now you have the man that killed your father challenging you and talking trash to you in your own country about telling you that you can't be.
But it wasn't the guy who killed his father that he was in the ring with, though.
Yeah, he wasn't fighting the father.
It's his son. It's his son.
I'm saying he was fighting.
The son wasn't killing people. The son was beating.
Yeah, the son was just a really good fighter.
Okay.
He wasn't killing people. He
Drago killed him.
And the point is the Drago's son. He was emotionally compromised also. So like I said, the emotional stakes.
I feel like that was one of the best parts of Creed 2 was the aspect of showing Drago with the estranged aspect of dealing with his parents.
Yeah,
I think that was one of the best parts of it, and I think they really. I almost feel like they should have. I feel like they could have done a movie dealing with him and those two, and then bringing the Creed aspect in. That also could have been your second.
Are you trying to make a Rocky universe?
That also goes.
Somebody call me.
There is a third. There's a third Creed coming. That's already been announced. But Sylvester Stallone's not
in it. Clubber Lang, son.
I think that's a rumor. I don't know that it's official.
I hope they don't do that.
That's what I heard. I mean,
I think it's a rumor. I don't know that that's official, but I do know that there's a third one coming. But Sylvester Stallone's not going to be in it.
But my whole point about the reason why I say you can't have Rocky, you can't have Creed 2 over Rocky 4, is because hold on. I disagree. Let me say why I disagree. Okay, is because you number one. Everything everything on Creed 2 is contingent on Rocky 4 and how heightened everything was in Rocky 4. Like it literally was almost a perfect boxing movie. You had the retired boxer coming out. You had they hit every possible right note for a fourth movie. To be honest with you, the fact that we're talking about Rocky 4 as the best in the series, that says something to me.
It is a perfect boxing movie. I just think Creed 2 was. I think Creed 2.
Wait, you just called it the biggest movie. Now you're going
the biggest thing to me that put that like Rocky 4 was awesome for a whole bunch of reasons. For patriotism, it was awesome. For as an underdog, it was awesome. For a revenge story, it was awesome in a whole bunch of ways.
Daddy, you stupid. Yeah.
I just updated my list. That's all.
What did he say?
No, man. You can't do that, man. You ain't doing that, man.
You tried it.
My list.
You
Nah,
really
you
did.
tried it, dude. No.
You tried it.
I submitted it
You put Mighty
Really?
Ducks on
I
video.
literally already posted the poll with the stuff in there. It's just
You-
scheduled. It won't let me move it up.
You
So
put
you ain't got
Mighty
to worry
Ducks.
about it.
That's it. That's on your
No,
name.
Mighty Ducks is still in there. I took
Wait, which one? Oh, Jerry Maguire.
out.
Yeah, you should
Not
have
too late for
got
that
rid
now.
of
You
Mighty
should have
Ducks.
thought
too.
about that.
It's
No,
too
Mighty
late
Ducks.
for that,
Got
guy.
rid of
Nah, Mighty Ducks is solid. I'll fight y'all on Mighty Ducks. Emilio Estevez.
You need to
I'm
get
not
rid-
mad.
I'm
Again,
not
I'm
fighting
not
you
mad.
over that.
Emilio,
You might want
Emilio
to get rid
Estevez
of
is still making money off of Mighty Ducks today.
You might want to get rid of
From who?
Mighty Ducks too.
Nah,
we give you one more chance. Go ahead and revise your list.
I'm actually with him on the Mighty Ducks, but it's cool.
Go on and revise your list
know,
one more
but the
time. bro.
Mighty Ducks
We'll
are-
turn our heads. We'll turn our head. Hold on. Go ahead.
Mighty Ducks is dope. I don't care what y'all say, bro.
Woo!
Jonathan Majors in talks to be opponent in Creed 3.
I'm all the way in for that.
Ain't he a bit too small
What?
compared to
Michael B. Jordan ain't big. He ain't.
Nah.
He's probably not even 200
I don't know.
pounds.
I'm asking.
No, I'm saying he's probably Michael B. Jordan is
Hey.
probably about 6 foot 185, something like that.
I want to make a prediction though. If we do this list again in a year, Jamie Foxx's Tyson movie and
oh yeah,
and King Richard.
No, that's something.
yeah.
Nobody
King
nobody
Richard.
even talked about Ali.
Because Ali wasn't that good.
That's
man.
because it what look. Everybody know. Well, a lot of people know how huge. Like Ali is one of my icons, like idol.
I think my
And
biggest
think it
Will
was
Smith
alright.
didn't do a
Biopic,
bad
though.
job. Will Smith didn't do a bad job. It's just hard to play Muhammad Ali. I've
I
seen
think-
some people do
I
it
think-
well.
It's a biopic.
I think
you
the
can
bigger
do-
problem is that
much biopic.
that's a hard story to tell in one movie.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think and they try and I see what they tried to do. They should have just made that movie about the thriller in Manila and been done with it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's still like
They tried to cover everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot to cover from Ali's life to really span how awesome of a, you know what I'm saying? Like he 5'11". Yeah, I knew he was around there.
So how tall is Jonathan Majors?
I don't know. I would guess 5'9", 5'10", maybe. I don't know. But I would love to see Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors on the same screen.
So-
That would be fire.
We all have.
Now,
Remember
let me ask you about
Psycho
this
on
though.
right?
Nobody had any documentaries, sports documentaries on here, and there's some really fire sports documentaries out.
Oh, the best sports documentary I've ever seen is, well, I don't know if you call it a sports documentary though. Yeah, I don't know that you call it a sports documentary.
Which
Yeah,
one?
It's not. I mean, the best one I've seen, at least recently, of course, the most recent one is the Jordan joint.
Yeah.
That's
I feel like the only reason
Danny,
I would
don't you
qualify
dare
that
roll
one
your
is
eyes,
that
sir.
it's
because
more
I was gonna
disrespect Jordan.
say at first I was gonna say the OJ joint. That's the best documentary I've ever seen. Period.
I actually haven't seen
What
that
about
one.
when we
That
were
was a
kings?
series. That was a series. That wasn't.
When We Were Kings is good. Yeah.
When we were kings,
Yeah.
I'll even throw
I don't
another
know if
one
I've
that
seen
I
it.
almost know I'm the only one who's ever seen is Murder Ball.
No, I saw
Appreciate it, Lance John.
Oh yeah, Murderball was
I
great.
feel like that's
I remember
John
that.
Lance.
Yeah.
Is that John Lance?
Hmm?
I feel like it's just backwards.
Majors is 6 feet.
No,
Yeah.
I to me the Jordan documentary, that's probably the best one.
Yeah.
Just because of how comprehensive it is.
Hoop Dreams was a really good one.
Hey, Marcus, don't
Marcus,
start
hey,
this.
come on now, stop playing.
Don't start this, bro.
Stop playing,
Hoop Dreams
dude.
could have
Don't
been
do
on the list somewhere.
Don't.
I would not have been. I could have seen somebody put Hoop Dreams on the list. I would not have done it, but
I don't even think I watched Hoop Dreams.
That'd be like putting Mighty Ducks on there. So don't. Yeah.
It's not a documentary. What are you talking about?
Oh, just about that.
That's
It's
not
better
a good
than putting
idea.
Jerry Maguire on there, man.
Well, I'll take Jerry Maguire over Mighty Ducks. So
At least
Jerry
Mighty
Maguire
Ducks
was
had
pretty cool.
the actual sport in the
you're right.
actual
You're
movie.
right. You're right about that. Actually, yeah.
Jerry Maguire had 2 scenes.
See, I know that
They were
Major
integral
League.
to the sport.
I know that Major League is gonna have my list looked at
I'd
sideways.
take the replacements
I
over
don't
Major
know.
League.
The only reason I said that is because the only reason I was looking at the fact that you had Major League 2 on there, and
that's
that's the
weird.
first Major League I watched.
That's
So
weird.
I do have a soft spot for that one. But
Mhm.
I went back, I watched the first one, and I would have put the first one on there. But I
I
also
think, most people consider
would've put-
Major League One to be. Most people consider Major League One to be like an all-time great. Like I was looking at other, like Variety and other people's lists earlier today to make sure I try to refresh my memory, make sure I'm not missing anything. But for me, the reason I put it on there is because again we did best. So that incorporates like my favorite, and that was definitely one of my favorite sports movies. Period. Growing up, like every time that movie came on, I watched it because I used to love when Serrano did the part.
Serrano is the best part of the two.
When Serrano and him have that whole back and forth, and they take the things and they're like, oh, you know what I'm saying, and then he hits the home run, and then he runs around. And then says, you know, then look at the score, boy. That's one of my favorite moments in a sports film. Period. So that had to go on my list.
Can we go on
but I want to say
Wild thing.
Everybody has their movies. Pretty much everyone has a moment on their list in each one of their movies. What's your moment in what puts your movie in the spot that it's in? For example, He Got Game. To me, the final fight the final game, the one-on-one game between at the end of the movie.
Quack.
Hey,
yo, Mighty Ducks had some moments, man. I don't care what y'all say, bro.
Remember the Titans. There's too many moments to point to.
Left side, strong side.
Left side, strong side, all day.
There's too many moments to point to, bro.
That's the moment.
That one has to be real. There's a lot of moments in Remember the Titans. You got Sunshine flipping somebody. You got the coach's
that is one of my favorites.
Coach's speech to the defense.
Yeah.
And then they go out and just murder everyone afterwards.
All right.
That Sunshine thing was awesome. He was like, let him through. Just trust me.
Not counting Morgan for the rest of you, Any Given Sunday.
Don't do that. I like Any Given Sunday. I'm just
you didn't put it on your list. He's talking about the one.
It's not Any Given Sunday.
He's talking about what we have on our list.
Revolution.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Y'all go.
Revolution.
You play to no, that ain't.
No, you talk about the inches. You're talking about the inches speech at the end.
No, the inches speech is the moment.
Yep.
The inches speech is legendary.
And then number 2 moment is the flip.
Man.
Today he is steaming.
Did somebody lose their
I don't know.
When
LT made that hit. When LT made that hit to stop him, and you stopped him cold.
Don't touch me. I'm worth $1 million. Yeah.
I'm worth $1 million.
There's a lot of really good moments.
And there's some really good moments in that movie. Or the argument at dinner. That's where
him and
Jamie Foxx himself said that was the moment where he felt like he hit it because that's where Pacino kind of gave him his props.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Moment.
No, him and Pacino going at it.
Pacino going back and forth at dinner. They're at Pacino's house.
Yeah,
that's a great.
Like in the office. Was it?
Who you think you're talking to?
Yeah,
was it in the office?
No, that's they're at Pacino's house. They're at the coach's house.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again.
The Revolution, the when Revolution is being played, where he makes that big throw.
Oh yeah. When you said Revolution, he's talking about the Kirk Franklin song.
The Kirk Franklin song, yeah. Again, really good soundtrack on that one.
$1 Million Baby, you already know.
The sequence at the end, the sequence where the last drive.
Oh,
I gotta go back and watch it again.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the last drive they do the toss at the end, and it's the last. He calls the last play Comanche, which is the drop back into run, and he runs the ball in.
I gotta go, but y'all know Jerry Maguire got several moments, so I'm just gonna leave you with that.
None of them are sports related.
Not one.
The dance.
That's not sport.
Yo, yes, it was, man.
That dance was it in organized dancing? Was it choreographed dancing?
He's saying, nah, man, I'm out here. He was being Steve Smith the whole game. He was saying, nah, I'm out here to play. I'm not going to dance. I'm not going to show no personality. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to play and I'm going to show my greatness. And the agent is telling him, you got to show some personality or you're not going to get signed. People want to see your personality so that they know.
Did this conversation happen while he was on the field playing the game?
But him dancing, the dance at the end.
Was he on the phone with him
when he scored?
Was he on a cell phone while he was running?
When he scored the touchdown,
was he sitting on the bench?
And he did the dance. That was the moment.
You mean that one, the one actual one scene that was the
that's the moment. That's on the field. Movie? That's it. Okay. I quit, man. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing. I mean, you lose that argument because I'm sorry. It's just not. I was just gonna listen. I was just gonna hear him
The
out.
number one moment for that movie has
No, I
nothing
can't
to
let
do
I
with
can't let
sports.
that I can't let that slide. I can't
No,
do
I'm
it.
saying I was gonna let him finish, but I just wasn't gonna contribute. I was just gonna listen. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just listen. I mean, there's no point in going back and forth. You just be like,
Oh
okay, go ahead.
man. Oh
Uh,
Jesus.
for me, Million Dollar Baby has a few moments. Of course, the major moment is I won't say it again in case I'm spoiling it for somebody.
The chair.
Yes, the chair,
Actually, I might. You know what? I might go watch that tomorrow. I might.
the
I'm gonna
speed
try to watch.
bag, the speed bag scene. Oh my god, bro! I look because it was her birthday. That scene was freaking awesome when he finally decides to train her.
So I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch Million Dollar Baby tomorrow, and I'm gonna watch Friday Night Lights because I never saw Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, I've never seen it either. I need to go
You never
watch
seen
that.
Friday Night Lights?
I'm definitely gonna watch Million Dollar Baby again though because Million Dollar Baby will take your soul out. But it does a good job of taking you to really high moments and really low moments. It that's Clint Eastwood has a lot of really good movies. That's definitely in there. Like
I
it
mean,
that,
y'all need
that
to watch Varsity Blues because y'all something wrong with y'all, man. I don't understand
I didn't say it was
why
bad.
y'all
I
don't
love,
why
I
y'all
love Varsity
disrespecting
Blues, other than the fact
Varsity
that the
Blues
coach was kind of
like
right.
that. What'd you say?
The coach
Creed
was kind of
2.
right.
I don't Creed 2.
You
That
said
fight
the coach was
montage.
right.
He was kind of right.
How?
Hmm?
How was he right?
Because he was running. He actually ran the team fairly well.
Yeah,
The biggest problem he had, the biggest problem,
kids.
the biggest thing,
He
the
messed up
biggest
that
thing
he ruined that
was
black dude's
ultra
career,
racist.
man. He tried to ruin his career. He was a
That's the worst
racist.
part. Yes, he was a racist. That's the biggest problem.
This dude
He
had a
was a racist.
concussion and he sent him back out on the field. Could have died.
Like that. I mean, I know coaches that did it. I'm
Y'all
fairly
terrible,
certain
man.
it happened to me.
Y'all
I'm
terrible.
fairly
you know
certain
what?
it
But
happened
you
to
know
me.
what would have never have happened in reality? Like this is the problem. Like, ain't no way they would have went out there with no coach. The quarterback would have went out there and all of a sudden became God coach, and they would have been able to make it. But
Yeah, but the dude
still,
played coach though. Remember, this dude was coach.
I have to watch it.
Paul Walker, he was the
Paul Walker,
quarterback who got hurt.
He was a coach.
He was the quarterback who got hurt at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got to go
that was
watch
his
it.
fault. That was the coach's
Like,
fault.
again, it fits a lot of things, so I can't complain about it. It definitely has moments, some in sport, some out of the sport, but it does a fairly good job of showing the sport in a good way.
It's
way.
the best Tom Brady movie that's the closest thing we get to a Tom Brady movie.
Okay, now
Don't do
you
this.
killed your momentum.
I only said that because he hates Tom
You
Brady.
killed your momentum right there. You
That's the
completely
only
killed
reason
your
I said it.
momentum.
I don't hate Tom Brady actually.
I know Jamari hates Tom Brady.
Oh, okay.
I detest John. I don't.
He actually really loves Tom Brady. He just don't want to admit it. That's all right.
Sir,
Creed,
how dare you say
Creed 2
things
or Rocky
like
4,
that?
I don't even think I need to state. I mean, the fight montage for Creed 2,
I don't remember.
I'd literally be ready to run through walls.
Again,
Is
for
that the
me,
one
it
that
still,
when he was running
it
through
still
the
doesn't
desert?
do better than the first
Yes.
movie. The first
Yes.
movie has a better
The first
montage.
movie had the better training montage.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
Go back and watch that.
I watched Creed 2 so many times and got so hyped. Me and my ex-girlfriend used to like be ready to go and destroy the world after watching that fight montage. That crap is awesome.
Nah, the first one is just better in all instances, man.
Be that
Better
as it may.
stakes, better training montage, better final fight, everything.
Better final fight. You're
Yeah.
fighting Drago's son, because I mean, get out of here, yo.
Maybe I have to go rewatch it again, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
I remember
I'm
watching
willing to go
Creed 2
rewatch
and I
for
was
that
like,
one.
"Oh, that's
I'm willing
cool."
to go do a rewatch on both of those. But I love how the first movie.
All right, I gotta take off, folks. I gotta put my son down. Y'all have a good evening.
All right,
Yeah,
man.
I appreciate y'all coming back through, man. I don't know what we're doing next week. Once we know, I'll post it in the group. Make sure y'all vote on the poll. Jamar, appreciate you for coming back through, man.
Thank you very
It
much
was
for having
fun.
me.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. It was fun. Definitely gonna have you back on. You already know, so you know what I mean. We appreciate you, bro. Peace out to everybody. Thank y'all for coming through.